Hi everybody, it's Amalia, and I'm here today with the November 2025 Oswo Inspired Collab. This month we're inspired by Alicia from Call Me Crafty Owl. There's so much to see on her Instagram, but I finally chose the perfect project to be inspired by. This is Spring Chickens, a 6x6 layering stencil and clear stamp combination. I've had this probably since about 2023, and I had to have it right away when I first saw it, and this is my first time using it. So thank you so much, Crafty Al, for inspiring me. I'm starting with my first layer of color, and it's going to be a distress ink called Tea Dye. There's several parts to this first layer. The first part is the body of the chickens, and the second part is like the head and neck part. So I'm just covering those smaller head and neck parts to make sure that I don't get color over them, because I want to do them a different color. I'm using fossilized amber to do the head and neck parts, and there's only 3 of them, so went really fast. This is my second layer, and the second layer includes some more chicken bodies and heads and necks, and I'm lining it up perfectly with the existing bodies so that they all match up. Don't forget that this is a collab, and you can check out the description below for links to all the other collabers' projects and to Crafty Owl's Instagram. Now I'm finishing off the rest of the bodies, and I'm thinking I should have gone in for a different color for some more contrast. Not all chickens are alike unless they're all the same breed. Not that I know anything about chickens. No roosters, only hens in this coop. So now I'm moving on to the third and final stencil, and I'm going to be using candied apple to fill in, I think it's called the crop. It's the crown where that red part is on some chickens. I should have used a smaller blending tool. They have the mini blending tool now, and I have plenty of those in my stash, but I wasn't thinking about it at all. It would have been a little bit easier to get that color laid down, but it worked out just fine. Now the stenciling part with this set of stencils is over, and the next part is where we use the stamps that came with these set. These stamps provide details to the bodies. There's 2 bodies, there's 4 different heads and faces details, there's 3 different sets of legs it looks like, 2 wings, and some random dots just to be like seed on the floor or something. Honestly, these stamps are very small and very detailed, and they add great detail, but it's detail that you could probably do with a pen as well, and I show you what I did in a minute. Now I'm putting in some legs, and if you see those little scratchy legs, those could easily be thrown in with some pen. Here I'm doing some wings, and I think the same thing could be done with a pen. So I finished all the legs and the wings and etc. Now I'm trying to get in some beaks and an eyeball and more detail on the crop. These stamps are so small. I failed on the first one, so I decided just to grab a pen, and I went ahead and just drew in all of the eyeballs and the beaks for all of my chickens. This one's got an extra large beak. Yeah, he's a little special, but that's okay. So I go on to do the rest of them, a little dot for the eye and just a small triangle for the beak. And I think that works out just fine. I didn't put in any extra lines for the, what's it called? It's not the wattle. The wattle's underneath the chin, right? Or that thing that flops over the beak on a turkey. I don't know. Whatever it's called, I didn't add the extra lines that the stamp did. But I think it's fine. What do you think? Leave a comment below. And if you know the name of the thing on top of the chicken's head, put that down there too. So I used the stamp for this part. I just created some texture in the background, little seeds or whatever's on the ground that the chickens are pecking at, and one guy was missing an eye and a beak, so I gave that to him, and I did this with the stamp instead of the pen because all those little dots would have been annoying, don't you think? Now the panel looks great as it is, but I brought in some stencils from a Scrappy Boy Stamps. It's called Forest Scene Builder. It's a set of 2 stencils, and I wanted to use little grass parts to, well, just to zhuzh up the background a little bit and add a little bit of grass. So I used my foam blending tool and some rustic wilderness distress ink to create a green for grass, and then I'm using that same large tool in those small little stencils, and it just isn't working. So I grabbed my mini blending tool, and I needed something else. So I grabbed a set of brushes that I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link below for you. And it's just a set of stackable small brushes about the same size as the mini blending tool. But they work a little bit better. Sometimes you need a sponge, sometimes you need a brush. So these worked a little bit better, and I got my little grass everywhere. If you're wondering about that Band-Aid on my hand, we have some stray cats in the neighborhood, and there's this one particular one that I've been feeding. He's a little ornery. He says meow, and then he hisses at you every single time. Meow, and then and I'm a crazy cat lady, so I keep feeding him, and he gets pushy and wants to eat before I finish putting food in the plate, and so I pushed him out of the way, and he hissed and he swatted at me. And so I'm just covering it to keep it infection free, and that's it. So here's my finished panel, but I wanted to put some chicken wire over it. So I used some Nina silver cardstock and this die that I got from Tall Mouse to put on my card. And guess what? Guess what? I lost one of the small dies from the stamp set. I was like, wouldn't you know it? Anyway, I lost it. I didn't think I was ever going to find it, but guess what? Here's my final card. It still needs a sentiment, but I've got to print something out for it. I kind of like the way the chicken wire looks on it. What do you think? Leave a comment below. So guess what? I lost the stamp, and then I found it. I found it a couple of hours later. I was cleaning. I was vacuuming up all the dust. I found it right there. It was sitting on, I keep a little shelf underneath my desk, and I put my printer there. I also found this little tube that my Gina K Designs little pickup stick goes into. But I decided to put this pickup stick into it instead. I got it for like $1 or something like that at one of the expos, and I think the tip dries out, so I'm going to leave it in that tube so the tip doesn't dry out. Look how tiny and invisible that stamp is. Who was going to find that? Anyway, I found it. Click thumbs up for finding things that are impossible to find, and leave a comment below with what you want my sentiment to be. Bye!